Recently, I saw this poster, and here's what it said. I can't change even if I want to. And at first it stopped me, but then I realized I felt really sad for the author of that poster. What had happened in their life that caused them to believe that they were stuck where they were today? Well, here's some general observations that I have about every human being. First of all, you are unique. God created you with specific physical characteristics. Maybe you have blue eyes, or auburn hair and green eyes, or dark skin, light skin. You're tall, you're short, you have dimples. You are male or female. These make up the physical being that we all recognize and associate with you. The second thing is that you have God-given personality traits. Are you an extrovert? Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you have a wicked, dry sense of humor. You could be a math whiz like a great friend of mine, or a musical genius, or maybe you're just really empathetic. You've got the gift of mercy. Perhaps you love to problem solve or design systems. Maybe you spin stories that keep others spellbound. These combine to become your natural bent. However, personality traits can adjust and mature. You have preferences. Maybe spicy food is your jam. You'd rather have a night on the town than spend a night at home reading a book. You prefer small conversations over coffee than a large party. Preferences change with maturity in our seasons of life. Don't confuse these with personality traits. Some might remain throughout your whole lifetime, but others morph, ebb, and flow. So let's break down 2 real-life observations that we can use to disrupt this mindset that I saw on this poster. Can't change. Well, those words indicate a fixed mindset. It's an inner belief system that is maybe rooted in pain or fear. Not too many years ago, experts did believe that our brains were fixed. But Carol Dweck, in her book Mindset, debunked this myth. Based on her research, Dweck shows that our minds have fantastic ability to grow, change, learn, and adapt. You see, God created our brains with neuroplasticity. Well, many others, including Dr. Carolyn Leaf, confer with Dweck's observations and conclusions. Our brains are able to learn, grow, and adapt. Leaf says it this way: you are free to choose how you focus your attention, and this affects how the chemicals and proteins and wiring of your brain change and function. And the Bible agrees with this in 1 Timothy 1:7, where God tells us that we do not have a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. When you focus your thoughts, you impact your choices, which result then in certain actions. But it all starts in your mind, in what you believe. The Apostle Paul encouraged the Corinthian believers to grow in maturity. And the ones in Ephesus, he encouraged them to grow in their knowledge of God and become more like Christ. Our brains, we can change. So what is the story you're telling yourself? The truth is, you can change. It's your God-given ability. And if you say you can't change, look in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. You can. Well, the second thing that I noticed on this poster was the phrase, even if I wanted to. Now, I find that interesting. Does that mean you want to, but can't? Well, if that's the case, go back and listen to what we just talked about. You can. Or is that statement maybe grounded in fear? For many years, I believed several false stories about myself. Some of them were things I spoke over me, and others were things that others said about me. See if you can relate to any of these. I'm shy. I never know what to say in social situations. I'm destined to be overweight because every woman in my family is. My value is determined by what others will pay for my services. I could never fill in the blank. I don't have what it takes. I deserve to be treated this way. You see, when we face change, we're immediately thrust into the unknown, which is often a scary place, but change also brings growth, adventure, excitement, and joy. Now imagine a baby who never learns to sit up, feed itself, crawl, walk, or speak. You would see that child and feel pity for them, wondering what happened to their normal growth pattern. Without change, we remain growth-stunted infants, and we miss out on all that God created for us to experience and enjoy. Perhaps the words, "if I wanted to," indicate you fear something you cannot predict, control, or wrap your mind around. It does take courage to face that fear and embrace change. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, said it this way: "Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the assessment that something else is more important than the fear." You discover grit when you face your fear instead of letting it sideline you. You realize you can do more than you believed, and with each fear-conquering step, you become all God created you to be, and we need you to do that. So the next time you hear the words, "I can't change," remember, you are more than the fear that holds you back. You will grow and change with God's help and your decision to confront the uncomfortable. When we faced our marriage crisis over 15 years ago, I had to face this decision. Was I going to continue the destructive path I was on, or would I change my ways? Well, I'm so thankful for God's intervention in my life. We thrived, and our marriage survived because both my husband and I chose to adopt the growth mindset, admit our fears, swallow our pride, and change. So what about you? How would you answer that statement? I can't change even if I wanted to. Are you going to stay stuck? Or are you going to move forward into the life that God has designed and created for you? In John 10:10, Jesus told us that he came to give us life and to give us an abundant life. I'd love to encourage you to move beyond your fear. If you feel stuck and are not sure what to do, hop on over to KirstenDSamuel.com and click the blue button. Let's talk. You can change. You're not stuck.